Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep into the future of education today, specifically how AI is changing the game.
It's a really exciting time to be looking at these topics, that's for sure.
It really is. And we've got some thought-provoking stuff to unpack today from Anders Enström, that educator who's really challenging the status quo.
Oh, absolutely. I'm familiar with his work, yeah.
Well, he gave this presentation at a huge education conference this year, and he did not hold back. He starts out with this graph, right, showing a correlation between the number of standardized tests given in U.S. schools and, get this, student suicide rates.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense.
It is, and it really makes you stop and think.
It does. And, while that data is U.S. specific, it does make you think about how much pressure students everywhere are under and whether our current education systems are really setting them up for success,
Exactly, and especially with AI developing so rapidly. Enström's point is, why are we still drilling kids on memorizing facts when AI can access and process information so much faster?
Right. It's like, what's the point?
Exactly. And he argues that we should be focusing on teaching skills that AI can't replicate. Critical thinking, problem solving, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Adaptability, creativity, those are the skills that are going to be valuable no matter how much technology advances.
Totally. So we need to be preparing students for a world where AI is everywhere. And that means rethinking how and what we teach.
I agree. I think that's a really key takeaway from Enström's work. We can't just keep doing what we've always done and expect it to work in this rapidly changing world.
Yeah, and that's what makes Enström's perspective so valuable. He's not just talking about the theory. He's actually out there implementing these ideas.
Exactly. He's walking the walk. And he's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Which is what we need more of, right?
Definitely. We need people who are willing to ask tough questions and push for change.
For sure. And that's what makes his presentation so fascinating.
Absolutely. I'm excited to dig in.
And this is where Enström really digs into what's wrong with the traditional education model. That whole lecture, individual work, test, repeat cycle.
Yeah, it gets kind of repetitive, doesn't it?
Totally. And I think it really limits creativity and collaboration.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like we're so focused on finding the one right answer that we forget about the joy of discovery,
Right.
like actually exploring and figuring things out together. And Enström uses this metaphor, right, that really drives this point home.
Okay, lay it on us.
He says, and I'm going to try my best with the Swedish here, he says, att läsa en lärobok och kalla det lärande är som att lukta på blommor och kalla det trädgårdsarbete.
Okay. For those of us who don't speak Swedish, what does that mean?
Yeah, no worries. It means reading a textbook and calling it learning is like smelling flowers and calling it gardening.
Oh, I like that.
Right. It's such a simple but powerful analogy.
Yeah, I mean, gardening is about so much more than just smelling the flowers. You got to get your hands dirty, plant the seeds, nurture the growth.
Exactly. And learning should be the same way. It should be about being active, engaged, really digging into the material.
It really makes you think about how we even define learning,
Yeah.
Are we really setting students up to be active learners in the traditional system?
Good question. And Enström would say, no, not really. He's a big believer in making learning relevant to students' lives, especially now with technology playing such a huge role.
Right. And he gives that great example, right, about the student who couldn't figure out that math problem, the one about giving change.
Oh, yeah.
Because they literally never use cash, always mobile payments.
It's so true, though, right?
It's like our teaching methods are stuck in the past. I remember back when I was learning algebra, it just seemed so abstract and pointless. But as soon as I started managing my own money,
it all clicked.
It all made sense.
Exactly.
So yeah, learning needs to be relevant and engaging.
For sure. And that's something I think each of us can relate to on a personal level, right? I mean, how has technology changed how you learn?
And this is where it gets really interesting, right? Because Enström doesn't see AI as this threat to teachers or anything. He sees it as like this incredible tool.
Yeah, totally. It's about using AI to enhance education, not to replace educators.
Right. And he gives some really cool examples like AI helping with research or like brainstorming different solutions to a problem.
Right. Or even like giving feedback on students' writing.
Yeah.
And that frees up teachers to do what they do best, which is like the mentoring, the guiding.
Totally. The inspiring, all that good stuff that AI can't replicate.
Exactly. And it can help personalize learning in a way that just wasn't possible before.
Right. And it's not just about like making things easier. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible in education.
Absolutely. And one thing that really struck me was Enström's emphasis on creativity. He wants to see more music, art, play, all of that integrated into every subject.
Yeah, he's not about just sticking those things in a box.
Right, exactly. It's about nurturing the whole student, recognizing that learning isn't just about absorbing information. It's about creativity, imagination, self-expression.
Totally. And AI can actually help with that too, which I thought was really interesting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Imagine a student who doesn't have a lot of support at home, right?
Yeah.
AI can be that 24/7 study buddy, providing access to information, personalized feedback,
That's amazing.
It really is. It's like leveling the playing field in a way that we've never really been able to do before.
Wow. It really makes you think about the possibilities, right?
It does. And, it reminds me of that Stephen Hawking quote that Enström shared. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change.
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
And that's really what it all comes down to, isn't it? Adaptability. Because AI is changing everything so quickly.
It is. And being able to learn and unlearn and relearn, that's going to be key, not just in school, but throughout our lives.
Totally, totally. So to our listeners out there, we want to leave you with this. How can you be more adaptable? How can you embrace change, especially when it comes to AI and learning? What can you do today to prepare for the opportunities and maybe even some of the disruptions that are coming our way? It's a really exciting time to be alive, and we can't wait to see what the future holds.
I completely agree. It's a time of incredible potential, and we have the power to shape the future of learning.
We do. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time.